So how do you know if you're being successful with your flirtations? If you follow some of these things that I've just outlined in this video, there's a huge amount. We're on 44 minutes now, all jam-packed with some fantastically amazing techniques and questions and processes you can use to drop in to be consistently flirting. So things to look out for, because you haven't got body language, you haven't got voice and tonality to know whether you've been successful. So the things to start looking out for: they start asking more questions of you. Very often you'll be throwing things out there, you'll be asking a question, you'll be making commentary, and they won't be asking questions of you. As they start to ask more questions of you, it shows that your flirting is working. They're becoming more interested in you. They want to know about this mysterious, flirtatious, banterful character. If they start teasing or challenging you, when I call trouble, girls, when I give them a nickname, if they give me a nickname back, then that's a fantastic sign that we're in a very highly flirtatious conversational thread. So one girl, as soon as I called her Trouble, she started calling me Double Trouble. So every text that we had back and forth from there was Trouble and Double Trouble. And that's a great place to be. So she's actually put me on a pedestal, if you like, as being more trouble than her, which is great. I don't know if this is a word, but lolling. So, if they're increasing their number of lols and their smiley faces, it shows they're becoming more flirtatious with you. They break the rule of one. The rule of one is an unwritten rule in internet dating communications, whether it be emails or text, and that is, it's ping pong. It's you send one over to her, she sends one back to you. You send one over to her, she sends one back to you. And it's very, very rare that you break this rule of one if you don't have any flirtation there. So what that means is, if it's just a standard, if you've missed the flirtation out and you're asking boring questions, it's a boring conversation thread, for a couple of responses it will be you send her one, she'll send you one back. But then after a while, she'll get bored, it'll just peter out and it'll just stop and disappear. But if you start to get a situation where she sends one over and maybe you don't reply for an hour or a couple of hours, and then she sends another one and then maybe another one, that's when you know that you're doing a fantastic job, that the flirtation is really kicking in, because she's breaking the rule of one. And when the girl starts breaking the rule of one, then you know that you're doing something absolutely fantastic. When she starts paying you real compliments about you, your dress, your personality, your banter, when she starts making threats, and I don't mean, hey, I'm going to come around there and kick your teeth in, but just little things like, hey, when we meet, I'm so going to splash puddles all over you. When we meet mountain biking, hey, when we meet, or when we end up going out mountain biking together, I'm so going to burn you up those hills, burn you off up those hills, or I'm so going to kill you on the downs and go faster than you. Or just little threats or challenges. All of these things are a good sign. Yeah, when we meet, I'm going to flick, when we get noodles together, I'm going to flick my noodles over you. Any little thing like that. It's just little threats, little challenges, and it's a huge sign that there's sexual flirtation going on. And anytime you just get a reaction from them, so they reply either an overtly sexual reaction or an overtly dramatic reaction, or they take offence in a light-hearted way and they come back with, "Whoa, hang on, I'm not like that, I'm really a good girl." Things like that is a great indication that you have got a huge amount of successful flirtation going on. So there you go, guys. I'm going to show you a conversation thread, but all of the things that I've just given you now are the keys to unlocking yourself to being that friend that takes girls out on dates, to the mysterious, intrigue, adventurous guy that girls want to be with and are fighting to communicate with you. And it's a story that I've told on many, I think a couple of the videos, but there was one girl that I flirted with heavily on an internet dating site and text, and had an X-rated encounter with her. I think it was within, I really can't remember, literally about 4 days she was in my house for an X-rated encounter, based on my conversation, based on my heavy flirtation, and yet she came and then proceeded to come to my house a few times. Never ever took her outside of my house, never wined her, never dined her. It was all off the strength of my flirtation. But the funny thing is, and I kind of feel sad for the other guy, that she'd also been seeing a good guy who had followed all the good guy rules and constantly complimenting her. And one day we were in bed, and she was telling me about the second date she'd had with this guy the night before, and the poor guy had paid for 2 meals that night. He'd paid for 2 meals the date before, and he had just been the ultimate good guy. And she said, you know what, there's no excitement, there's no flirtation, there's no banter. I don't think I'm going to see him again. Yet she's lying in my bed telling me this, and I haven't spent a penny. I haven't taken her anywhere. So it's the flirtation that's going to make all the difference. So if you take on board all of these things, you will not be positioned as that friend or the communication that dies off. So use these things, guys. Absolutely. Watch this video a couple of times and take the elements from it and put them in action straight away.